welcome back. So I made a post about different ways I can line my eyes, and one of the most requested tutorial was for the puppy liner. So I thought I'll make this tutorial right here. So if you Google puppy liner tutorial right now, there's a lot of very unflattering looks, usually by non-Asians, who insist, oh my gosh, this is so terrible, it doesn't look good on non-Asians, it just looks terrible. And I think the problem is just that there's a misconception about what the puppy liner is. I think the reason for this misconception is because most people heard about this liner from a non-Korean blogger, and then they told someone else and told someone else, and soon it becomes this game of telephone about what the Koreans are doing, and it becomes, okay, you flick downwards instead of upwards, the opposite of a cat eye. It's a puppy liner. So people end up doing this downward flicking dagger liners that look like a disappointed stock market. The whole point of this liner is to make it look like you're smiling, and if you notice, if you're smiling, your eyes do curve like downwards and kinda outwards. So if you look carefully at what all the Korean makeup artists are doing, that's what they're doing, is downwards and outwards, not just straight downwards flick. There are some liner styles that are completely downwards, and then after that you just smoke out the bottom part to connect it to the edge of the liner, and it is a more edgy sort of look. It is in some K-pop music videos, and I have done a tutorial using this style of liner before. I'll link it above and below. So yeah, that style of liner does exist, and it is a more dramatic, edgy sort of look, which is why a lot of people are like, hey, it does not look good for me, it does not look natural. If you want the actual puppy liner, the line is actually down and out. And now, how do you do it on monolids? That's a bit more complicated, because for a lot of monolids, our eyes fold in all sorts of weird ways, so it's quite difficult to figure out how to place this eyeliner. So this is where this tutorial comes in. Anyway, okay, first thing you need is going to be a stiff but flicky sort of brush. If you get a brush that's way too soft, it's going to be really hard to get control over the brush, so you're going to have a bit of a jiggly, shaky line unless you have hands steadier than that of a surgeon. But if you use a really stiff brush, you can't get the very natural light flick. So use a brush that's semi-stiff but still very flicky. I find that usually the Korean and Japanese brands are the best for this kind of liquid liner. The brush I'm using is the Love Liner. I love it. I feel like that's a cheesy pun somewhere. Anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So now take a look at your eyes first. Now, if you notice with monolids, your eyes actually have a natural downward slope in the corner of your eyes. Yeah, so if you keep going down further, your eyes are just gonna look extremely strange. It's just gonna look really awkward. So remember, note the natural downward slope of your eyes and use it for this liner. Because the only other option to make the slope look not so crazy weird is to do a floating liner. And that's not the point of this tutorial, because I know some people don't like this floating liner. It doesn't look natural enough, so I get it. So we're gonna work with the outward slope of your eyes, and also first keep your eyes open here and take a look at where the corner of your eyes seem to be. Where the corner of your eyes seem to be when you open your eyes may not be the actual corner of your eyes. Let me demonstrate. So I'm just taking my liner and angling it straight from where the corner of my eyes appear to be when I have my eyes open, and tapping it down. Now when I close my eyes, you notice that this line actually floats very high up from where the actual corner of my eyes are. And you see the point where the outer corner of my eye stops sloping downwards?
You done already?
I'll just film with her. Hey, Evie! Hey, sweetheart. Sorry, this video will feature a baby now. Yep. And she needs to feed, so I'm gonna crop so that you can't see her feeding. Anyway, so you want to connect the line you just made to that point over there where the outer part of your eye starts sloping down. So just connect it. Now when you close your eyes, you'll notice that the liner is hanging above your lash line, and you may be tempted to fill that corner in, you know, that bottom gap. You may be tempted to do it, but please don't. If you do fill it up, it becomes extremely blocky and it looks very unnatural. I do not recommend it at all. If you don't want a just a tip sort of liner where it floats up and you absolutely want to connect it to the lash line, what you can do is just basically keep following the angle of the liner and connect it down to your lash line without touching the corners. So you're going to look like you've just drawn a triangle somewhere about like 1 or 2 millimeters away from the corner of your lash line. That's how it's supposed to look like. Yeah, just don't fill in that gap. Whatever you do, don't fill in the gap. You can just connect it to your lashes in any way you want. And now that you have the slope and you've connected it to your lash line, your liner will look like a greater than sign. It's fine. If you don't like it, you can ombre it out so that it looks less harsh. Up to you, or you can do what I do and just draw or write whatever you want on your eyelids, because nobody can see it once you open your eyes anyway. So that's how I do the puppy style liner with a liquid liner. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching the entire thing. Sorry about the baby interrupting. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and feel free to write a comment below if you have any questions. And I'll see you next time. See you.